So, on this particular night, this is again 5 weeks after his aunt has passed away, Paul is in his aunt's bedroom. He's in her bed getting ready to fall asleep. As he's lying there, he begins to hear a strange sound coming from the side of the room. It sounds almost like scratching. The room is very dark. It's late at night, and although there's a window, very little moonlight is coming through. Paul opens his eyes, rolls over, and looks toward the sound. At first, he can't see anything. But as his eyes adjust to the darkness, he realizes he's looking at something impossible. A hand. A pale hand, attached to an arm that is slowly reaching out through the wall toward him. For anyone else, it would have been terrifying. But Paul isn't afraid. In fact, he thinks his plan has finally worked. For weeks, he had been sleeping in his late aunt's room, hoping her ghost would somehow reveal what had really happened to her. Now convinced this is her spirit reaching out, he quietly gets out of bed, walks over to the arm, and grabs it. The moment he does, screams erupt throughout the house. Everyone wakes up. Paul's father rushes into the bedroom and freezes in disbelief when he sees what his son is holding. There really was an arm reaching through the wall, but it wasn't a ghost's arm. It belonged to a murderer. Miss Blackwood had never died from heart disease. The person living in the room next to hers had secretly drilled a hole through the wall, just large enough to fit an arm through. While Miss Blackwood slept each night, the killer reached through the hole and poured poison into the glass of water she kept beside her bed. She died from the poison, but because she already suffered from heart disease, everyone assumed cardiac arrest had been the cause of death. Everyone believed it. Everyone except Paul. The killer had realized Paul suspected something was wrong. Although he never told anyone, he had begun sleeping in Miss Blackwood's bedroom, searching for clues. Watching him from the next room, the killer feared he was getting too close to the truth. So they decided to eliminate him the same way. That night, Paul also had a glass of water beside his bed. The killer reached through the hole in the wall, intending to pour poison into his drink. But instead of sleeping, Paul heard the scratching. Thinking it was his aunt's ghost, he grabbed the arm before the poison could be poured. The screams that followed weren't from Paul. They came from the killer, realizing they had been caught. The murderer was none other than Paul's own cousin, 19-year-old Madeline. After her parents died, Miss Blackwood had taken Madeline into her home and raised her like her own daughter. She even added Madeline to her will, making her the heir to her considerable fortune. But Madeline didn't want to wait for her inheritance. She wanted the money immediately. So she murdered the woman who had cared for her. After being caught, Madeline quickly confessed everything to Paul and his parents. They immediately sent for the police to arrest her for the murder of Miss Blackwood and the attempted murder of Paul. But before the officers could arrive, Madeline suddenly began bleeding heavily from her mouth. Moments later, she collapsed and died. No one knows exactly what killed her, but investigators believe she most likely took the same poison she had used to murder her aunt, choosing death over facing justice.